A little simple introduction. My name's Tad Malone. I think I first met Ryan when I was about 13. I was on a baseball team in Little League, and Coach let us know that a kid from Sarah was going to join our team. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he got there, and he was like chill, but then I found out he also played first base, and I was the first baseman. So like when I first met Ryan, I was pissed off at him because I didn't want him to take my spot on the team, like on the field. But over the next couple weeks and like through the baseball season, I got to know him, and like we had a lot of fun, and like it was still kind of a acquaintance relationship at that point. One of my favorite memories of Ryan is this was in high school, and we were just kind of just rebellious bad kids, and Seb's driving the convertible, and Ryan's in the back seat. Suddenly he just rips his shirt off in the back seat and just screams as loud as he can for like 45 seconds, almost a minute, like this deafening and it was like, and I didn't know what was happening, but like that was like, looking back, that was the first like glimpse of what 3-Pac was, like this like unrestrained animal within Ryan just waiting to be let out. I think attention was a part of it, wanted some attention, but also I think it was a matter of standing out. The simplest way is like something over the top and ridiculous. You do! 3-Pac runs the engine! Ryan was, I would say, almost a polar opposite of what 3-Pac was. Like 3-Pac, he's loud, he makes an entrance always. Like he's not afraid to say whatever he wants at full volume. And Ryan was much more, he's kind of meek, he was quiet, so to speak. He was very low key. Late one night when we're over at Seb's house, Ryan had a computer and we started like joking about like rapping. So we sat down in actually Seb's parents' bathroom. Ryan kind of had like a beginnings of a beat. The song's called Ryan James. My name's Ryan James and I smoke a lot of weed. And like that was recorded in one night with like nothing spurring it on, no inspiration except just like, hey, let's just fuck around and do this. And we did. The response was like good. Like we were even surprised like how good it sounded and like how catchy. And so we kind of kept doing that. And like I remember going back over to Seb's house. And like just late at night, like Seb would be asleep, and we would just like continue making little songs and like working on little snippets and like not knowing what we were gonna do with it, but it felt like there's purpose there, something exciting. Yeah. So this is where me and Ryan would record a lot. He'd stand right here, and I don't have a microphone here yet, but yeah, he would stand right here and record, and we'd close the door and just like listen from like hear mumble, like rapping mumble through the door. Hey, we're talking about like the first glimpse I got of 3-Pac at least was our friend Matt Abdallah had a party, and just a normal party, like no costumes, no dress up, but Ryan showed up dressed as Osama bin Laden, and suffice to say, got a reaction out of both good and bad. Like mostly the girls weren't feeling it, but that was like the first glimpse I got of Ryan approaching life through a character, like through a mask that allowed him to approach things in a way that wouldn't jive with what he saw or what people saw as Ryan. The writer Kurt Vonnegut has a quote, kind of paraphrase here, but everyone wears a mask to the world. And just be careful what that mask is, because you can't take it off at a certain point. He put on a mask for that party, and it wasn't 3-Pac, but he got a sense of what a mask can do for you, like what a little camouflage how it can help you move through the world and on your own terms. It was a process of evolution, I think, because at the beginning Ryan, he was still Ryan. He did it like he was forcing that kind of voice for the character. And so like I'd see the contrast where like I'd watch a video of 3-Pac and then he'd be at my house and we'd be laughing about the comments, and that was Ryan laughing about the comments. But then as time went on, a year, maybe down the line, 2 years almost, like that line was muddied. Like it was very much muddled, like where I didn't know where Ryan ended and 3-Pac began. Where Ryan would come over and we watch a new video he made as 3-Pac, but he would be kind of watching it as 3-Pac as well. And I don't know how much he was aware of that change, but that change was definitely happening. When we'd make videos, like it was so much fun for me because I was just filming. It was basically like, Ryan, do this, like see if you would do it. And like by that point, suddenly like he was down to do whatever. I'm like, Ryan, like put like one of these deerskins hat we have on, and just with your boxers, and just ride your rollerblades like around the neighborhood, and I'll film you on my skateboard. He's like, yeah, let's do it. And like he had to be like talked into things like that beforehand, like it seemed like, but suddenly like he was down for whatever. For the McChickens video, we were at McDonald's to film a little part of it, and there was a homeless guy eating McDonald's, and I'm like, Ryan, go get like a shout out from him. And he's like, all right. And so he just went and did it. And like, that's something like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was so like not in character for like Ryan Harriman. Like, he wasn't one to like approach a stranger, like, bro, help me out with this. Like, that wasn't his vibe, I don't think. And, but then when that happened, I was like, wow, okay, this is for real.
Sometimes I go and get 20 McChickens and they all for me. McChickens, no mayonnaise. McChickens, no mayonnaise. McChickens, no mayonnaise. McChickens, no mayonnaise. McChickens.
Really what cemented it for me was Ryan was hired for a show. And we're just like, wow, okay, like he's got a 3POC live show. It's gonna be hilarious. So we show up to like this house. It's nighttime and there's like no lights outside of this house. There's just like 30 people or so milling out in front of this place. And like we walk up, I'm not really sure what's going on, if this is the place even. And kind of a hostile kind of energy, it seemed like. They didn't know who we were, we didn't know where they were. And then like in the darkness, one of them was like, oh, you here for the 3POC show? And it's like it's a lull and like silence. And then like Ryan's just like, I am 3POC. And like shit just changed at that moment. Like where suddenly everyone's like, oh, 3POC? Like, oh my God. Like, and everyone just like bum rushes Ryan, and the door opens and like 50 more people come out of this house, and they all just get around Ryan and want to talk to him. And like me and Danny and Joseph were kind of like pushed back from this, and we're just like holy shit, like this is real, like this is really real. Like 100 people like here to see Ryan, like 3POC. And that really, I was like, oh damn, okay, this is for real. This is a real thing.
What about the language of the ZHG, the hoot, the whack, the beat, the bump?
That comes mostly from hip hop in the Bay Area, like E40, Too Short, Mac Dre, all kind of propagated a way of talking that was flexible and weird and obscure, but like relatable all the same. We'd always talk like that, like our friends. Like I remember we used to call things squad, like a decade before 3POC was ever a thing, before it was ever an idea. We would call things like, oh, that's whack, fool, that's bunk, that's fucking, yeah, it's
use whack, use bunk, use beat, use squat, use flat, use whack, use bunk, squat, use hoot, use beat, use whack. I don't give a hook, son, I'm a silver man.
And so that's where I think it came from. Like we'd be like trying to go a party, and they'd be like, oh, only 2 people can come, there's not enough room. And I'd be like, oh, it's fucking Hoots, son. Sunnyvale, ha, it's the place to be, flying town looking like a bumblebee. Forward, we find no limit, we take it to the sky. Damn, RJ, can you be that fly? Mac Master Skills left me wondering why. Yeah, good time. That was the first song we ever recorded.
Everybody loves me. I do it for the ZHG. For the ZHG. For the ZHG. All these haters bugging out about who I be. For the ZHG. For the ZHG. Yeah, son. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm a writer, and I write about creative things mostly, and so I got a job with a music magazine in New York City called Cypher League, or Cypher Magazine. And like I talked to Ryan because like I tell him like, yo dude, like I should write an article about 3POC. Like he's like, yeah, that'd be sick. More of a pipe dream. But then 3POC was becoming big. Like every new video he had would be premiered on World Star, or like each of his videos get hundreds of thousands of views. Different internet personalities, rappers would shout him out or mention him online. And so it was a real thing. And we got real to the point where my editors at this music magazine asked me to do a profile of 3POC. Approached Ryan, I was like, bro, like they want an article about you. Like I need to like interview you. We finally got around to scheduling a time where he could come and talk to me for like 2 hours, basically, as long as he could, like with as much information I can get out of him. I mentioned it in the article I wrote, but I had like the most like in-depth conversation I had with Ryan like ever. He was just super excited and telling me about the stuff he was gonna do, and like what was gonna happen with 3POC. And I was telling him like, yeah, bro, like this article, I'm gonna have to like clarify some points that we talked about, so I'll hit you up in the next couple of days. Like, yeah, for sure. And I remember him just like smiling and walking like through the sun, to to his car, like across my yard, and that was like the last time I saw Ryan conscious. I was in the bathtub and I was reading, and our friend Danny called me, and he was very upset, and I didn't understand what he was talking about. Ryan like drowned or something, or he went under the water during water polo practice at San Jose State, and he didn't wake up. Our friend Danny was known practical joker, and at first I was just like, you fucking piece of shit, like why would you ever joke like something like that? And so I thought it was a joke, and I was like, dude, don't fucking joke about this stuff. But he's like, no, this is real. And so like I remember I got out of the bathtub and started calling people. I called Doug, I called Joseph, I called Yoav, and they all wanted to go to the hospital right then. And I'm like, no, we can't. I wanted to too, but it wasn't right at that time. So so everyone came over to my house and we sat and we just talked and worried. And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, I have to write an article about him. The next morning I woke up and I called my editor in New York and told him what happened. And he's like, oh shit. Like, he's like, all right, we'll sit on this for now. Like, let me know what happens. Like, and so we got a chance while Ryan was still in the ICU. We got a chance to go say goodbye, basically. I remember those first couple of days, like, just waiting on updates and like waiting. And he was breathing, but you know, he wasn't off the respirator and things like that. And then you know, reality slips back in, and the days passed, and he wasn't getting better, and so we were given a chance, all of us, to, like all of his friends, to go say goodbye, basically, and so I went with Danny and Joseph, and we met everyone at the hospital, and we went and we said goodbye to Ryan. I always remember because of, you know, seeing Ryan like that with, you know, 15 tubes and stuff, but I always remember just how my friends all looked like in that moment, you know. It was bad. It was real bad, and just the uncertainty and like just seeing the helplessness cast across everyone's face. It was just, I'll never forget that. But I had a job to do. Like, I had a job to do, so I had to write an article about him. I told my editor, I was like, listen, like, he's not gonna wake up, like, they're gonna pull the plug on him, like, so I don't know what you want me to do with this, but it needs to get out there. So he's like, well, do what you think is right. So I was like, I'm gonna make this basically, it'll be a memory of Ryan, it's gonna be a eulogy, basically, in roundabout terms. So after we visited him in the ICU and we said goodbye, I sat down and started writing, and I don't really remember. It's like a 3,000 word article. It's one of the longest articles I've ever read. I don't really remember writing it. Like, I don't remember what I felt. I don't remember what I wrote, why I wrote what I wrote, where it came from. Like, I just tuned out, and it just happened. I don't know. And so, like, I got all this praise from the article and everyone loved it, but I don't know what I did, you know, like, I just wrote, and, yeah, and so I felt grateful that I could do that, because in a moment like that, like I mentioned, like, everyone just, you know, it's just helplessness, you can't do anything, there's nothing you can do to change anything. But I thought at the very least I could give people a sense of what Ryan was and what 3PAC was, and so I tried to do that with my article, and I guess luckily it had that effect. But yeah, and that helped me a lot. You know, it was my own kind of process of grieving and mourning. So the article came out, and I got crazy response from it. I heard from every single person. I heard from Fortune 500 CEOs, basically. I heard from venture capitalists, all my friends, people we knew. But then the most fascinating thing, opening up my Facebook after the article came out, and not messages, but message requests, like just 15, 20 from people I'd never met before, but they had some affiliation, I could tell, with the ZHG or something, or they'd already changed their profile picture in tribute to Ryan. It was hard for me. I didn't know what to do, so I feel bad looking back because I didn't really respond to any of them, but I just read them, and yeah, I just got it. I mean, I had a sense of what Ryan did for people, and how he helped them, how he, especially, you know, just people marginalized in society, like people that, you know, afraid to show who they really were and what they cared about, and what people, and more importantly, what people think of that. And but those messages just showed me just people from around the world, like people, and I remember a guy in Spain, you know, people from all across the country, all age groups, you know, like some gangster dudes like sending me messages, including little, like, you know, almost teeny bopper kids, and all of them had the same thing to say, which is like Ryan was, however crazy it seems, like this over the top, smirking, wild, like reckless, offensive character in YouTube videos transformed their lives and their perspectives on themselves just through the simple ZHG, just through Zero Hoots, just the simple kind of silly phrase. Like it and I guess that simplicity was what reached people and like and showed them like that they could be like Ryan. They could approach life without fear and without worry of expectations of others and what people thought, and for anything, for a creative pursuit, for their own, you know, mental well-being and their self-image and worth. And it blew my mind, all those messages. And so I feel horrible never responding to them, but I didn't know what to say because they said more than I ever could, in a way. And I still find them, actually. I still, like, I'll go through I'll see, like, message requests, and I'll go in there, and I'm like, oh, shit, there's some more. And, like, people will send just little memories, in a way. But really just reinforcement of the importance of what Ryan did. And I gotta be honest, I never saw it as important. It was fun. It was silly, you know, it was a joke kind of thing. The flood of messages, it showed me what Ryan was and what he did, even in that short time, like how he helped people, and it just made me miss him. Yeah, that's all I got.
What?
That was awesome.
That's powerful.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, of course, man.